Yeah, hello and welcome to another update video on Solana. Yeah, we are here currently working on an ABC structure to the upside, probably, which is pretty much in line with what we talked about over the last few days again and again. You might remember we were tracking this as a 5-wave advance in an A wave that hasn't changed, possibly in a leading diagonal here from the 21st of November low. Whenever we get a 5-wave move up, it is at least likely that the next pullback will end as a 3-wave move. So we have a so-called AB structure here. We saw 5 waves up in wave A and then an ABC structure in wave B. And then typically when we have a pattern like that close to the end of the C wave, when we have 5 waves, and I mean, I think it's quite clear that this C wave gave us a very clear 5-wave decline, which is pretty good to read. Then we can watch for the upside reaction, right? And in the first video I made earlier today, we saw already a 5-wave move up on the Solana chart. And it's a very similar structure to what Bitcoin and Ethereum have followed earlier today. So just to highlight again, how do we recognize that we have a high likelihood of a bounce? Well, first of all, if we get 5 waves up and 3 waves down, towards the end of the 3 waves, we are definitely going to watch for reversal. And I mean, we did that. Then we track for possible 5-wave movements to the upside, which also happened. And the next confirmation then that something is changing is a break above initial resistance. Now, this is often the latest signal that we get, or quite a late signal, yeah, because a lot of price action is already done when we get the breakout. But this was around $131.50, and this was our, you could say, breakout signal, because any break above the 50% retracement typically would indicate that in this case, the bulls take the lead because the downside impulse is broken. But that was not unexpected. That is actually something we wanted to see. It's like a signal line. But as I explained before, it was already the reaction in the resistance area that told us much more than that, because I tried to prepare everybody for this, because whenever we move into resistance and we don't see any rejection and we don't see a slowdown, but rather an increase in momentum, then it becomes more likely that we get an upside breakout, yeah? And I mean, here it was actually expected an upside breakout, even if it's just a local one. And I mean, these zones are just pivots, essentially. We have to, of course, monitor live how the price reacts when this area is reached. And so these videos can really always only be a snapshot, right? But it's just something that's a general truth of the market, that at least the market tends to break out when we have an upside momentum increase in resistance, because that is not how resistances should work, in a sense, if that makes sense. Because if you get, again, we wanted to see a break above resistance, don't get me wrong, but a resistance, for it to actually work as resistance, the market should rather slow down. Now, anyway, we have that breakout up to the upside, and this current pullback could be the internal 4th wave pullback within a C wave up in a larger bounce here of wave 4. And the next resistances are at 144.60 and 146.50. So these are the next key levels. Micro support is between 133.20 and 137.14. So we'll see if the bulls turn up there and take the price higher at least once, maybe twice, so maybe 2 more highs. Not really much more to say here. I mean, what would happen if we break below 133.20? I mean, it could just simply be an extension of wave B, right? To show you that A wave, B wave, C wave, and then we can still try again. It would simply extend this ABC into a larger ABC. It wouldn't be ideal, but it's something that I would then track if we can't get that healthy C wave completed. But for now, I'm watching for at least one more high here. And that would be a completed C wave. That's the update on Solana. Hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And if you're interested in additional updates, then check out our memberships. I'll leave a link in the comment section. in case you want to join MCO. I mean, there are lots of benefits. You can join a growing community. I mean, we have thousands of members, traders, investors on Discord. You can reach the Discord server with our gold membership. One of the latest, I mean, I constantly try to add additional value to our memberships. One of the latest additions is that you, as a gold member, you get the early access chapters of my book that I'm writing, Waves of Change, which will be a book about markets, a book about Elliott Wave, a book about how to apply Elliott Wave in practice. And of course, it will be a whole book that'll be written and eventually published as a formal printed book. But I take you with me on the journey, right? And you get the early access chapters. And this week, I already released the first chapter. So if you want to read what nobody else can read at the moment, you get access as a member. So feel free to join. That gives you plenty of stuff to work through and learn and just be part of a community. I mean, you don't need to learn if you don't want to, but you can be part of a community that is growing, that is vibrant, that is positive. So check it out. And I'll leave a link in the comment section. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.